Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you. Today we see the church decorated. It is a day to rejoice. Even though we've been in the midst of Lent, we have yesterday the miracle of Lazarus coming out of the grave after having been dead 4 days. And today we have the procession of Jesus into Jerusalem, where the people proclaim him as king. Now you all saw, maybe, the icon that's on the front of your bulletins for today, and you see Christ. And as the text in the back of the bulletin describes, the question that's raised in one of the Gospels that the people asked, well, who is this man? And we know it's Christ, right? Because many of the icons in the church have Christ. But who is he really? And because there's so many of us here, and not all of us come every Sunday, we're not going to go through an explanation of that, but it's suitable to bear in mind who he is and why he came. So we see the signs, God's miracles. We see or we hear about Mary, the brother of Lazarus, breaking a spikenard of ointment of myrrh, sweet smelling, and putting some of it on his head, Christ, and some of it on his feet, and then weeping, crying, and washing away her tears with her hair. Highly unusual. Most people don't do that. We also see the thievery. We heard about Judas Iscariot talking about, well, I should have taken the money and given it to the poor, when in reality what he really meant was that his hand would take it out of the basket and go to himself. We also hear about ignorance. We read about it. We see these disciples, people that have been following him for 3 years, who know him better than anyone else in the world, and yet, other than his mother, and they don't understand what he's telling them. It says they did not understand this at first. They only understood more after he died. So there's this profound ignorance, even while he's around. Like, who is he? Even the disciples don't really know. And we can say about all or many of the others that are around, there are many that were followers, but there are others that were curiosity seekers. Yes, this is the big celebration. The king is coming into town. I'll celebrate that with everybody else. But many of these become what are known today as the fair weather friend. As long as there's a party, as long as there's food, as long as there's celebration, they're in. But when they see he's condemned to die, then they no longer call him a king. They no longer say rejoice. They no longer say God is in our midst. They go somewhere else. Well, is that right? We know it was wrong, but they did that. And we saw so many of the acts of Christ to refute those beliefs. Because of these very miracles, they couldn't get it through their heads that someone who can raise people from the dead, someone that can heal lepers, people with palsy, people with epilepsy, all kinds of spiritual sickness, this one person can heal them. They forget about the Bible, the Old Testament, Isaiah, Genesis, speaking to them the very prophecy that he fulfills today when he comes in riding on the foal of the donkey. They don't understand, yet it's all there. Now it's in writing. Many of us still don't understand. Who is he? What was he about? He was very God and man, both at the same time. We in our days look back and see those people from days of yore and say, how silly they were. Should have known this was Christ and that he wouldn't. He needed to go through these little events, right? No, it's his passion. His passion is this week, when he'll have to go before the tribunal. He'll be condemned to die, and he'll be tortured and then killed as a result of he being the creator of the creatures that are maligning him, torturing him, and killing him. It's the height of irony. And then so too for us, we will carry today, God willing, the palms. We'll go to our homes with them. We'll rejoice and be exceedingly glad, because we hope great will be our reward in heaven. And even the branches we carry, or if he were to come today, many of us would put our garments out on the path so that the king could go unimpeded. But what would we do? What will we do after this day of rejoicing? Because this coming week is not a week of joy and happiness every day, is it? No, we have, as we said, going before the tribunal, being spat upon, beaten, whipped, crucified. Where will we be then? We're ready to go on the journey today. Yes, rejoice. Even the epistle speaks about rejoicing in the Lord, not just happiness for happiness' sake. Rejoice for a reason. It's to rejoice in the Lord. But when we go, even this day, will we follow him onward as Christ progresses this week from life to death and then ultimately to life again? Who is this man, we ask? And we know who it is. It's the very God. And yet at the same time, we make these palms that we distribute. And we say, these are blessed. And we kiss them. We put them in our homes. We put them in our cars. We drive with them. But we should never forget what they symbolize. It's the cross, right? Even the palms, they become the crosses, right? They're fashioned into that. And just as we're supposed to fashion ourselves from just something lesser to something greater, so the palms are made into something greater, the symbol of victory at the end of this coming week. Today is a day of rejoicing. Do not forget that, and be happy and glad. And we even have a beautiful luncheon afterwards for those who are attending that. But we can't leave the festival, the rejoicing, and go away and then forget about the rest. Because for us, the real story, the true story, the completion of the story is only at the end of this coming week. Yes, it encompasses death and all these bad things, but ultimately it also leads to his resurrection. As Christ said yesterday when he raised Lazarus, he said, what did he say? He said, I am the life, I am the resurrection. Not just someone is God up there. This person with you is life. He is resurrection. That's who we celebrate when we walk with the palms. That's who we laud. It's very God himself. And it's a God that shows us love. May you keep this message, this joy in your heart throughout the week, even as we know what will happen, even as we see him later in the week hanging on the cross, dead. Still, we know that the day will pass, next day, and then we will come to his very resurrection. Resurrection of a man who was God at the same time.